Hello YouTube, my name is Casey, welcome to my channel. I don't think I've ever actually done that before, so if you've never seen my channel before, my name is Casey. I'm going to try and keep my eye on the time. I'm not really trying to edit my videos this much these days anymore just because it's been really hurting my eyes and making my health issues worse, so I'm just going to try and keep an eye on the time so that I don't go super over. But this video is going to be about my experience about being in the hospital for a week, and kind of just an update of my health issues. So I'll kind of give it a little bit of a background. I've been having kind of seizure-like activity for the last 4 or 5 years of my life. Kind of once in a while they've been getting a little bit worse. Over the last year, maybe like once a month I'd have like a weird arm shake or a full body shake, anywhere from an hour to like 7 minutes. But like we thought maybe it was from substances or low blood sugar. Like we always kind of thought maybe it was something. I tried to reach out to the doctor, but nothing ever happened. Anyway, so February 16th, I had this seizure thing happen at my work, so obviously they had to call the ambulance and take me to the hospital. So from there, everybody was super confused because I was fully aware, I could hear, I was confused. My brain did hurt though, but I was shaking, like full body shaking, so they were like, well, it doesn't really look like a seizure, so we don't know. So they threw me on seizure medication, tried to connect with some Vancouver doctors, and we kind of went from there. So from there I was on lamotrigine for a while, and I was almost better within about a week or two, and then I had a really bad allergic reaction, and it was a deadly reaction, so I couldn't stay on it. Came off that medication, and then I thought, well, okay, well maybe this is just a one-time thing, but of course within 24 hours the shaking came back, and when it happens it's quite bad. It's full body shaking. I can't hold my head up, I can't sit up, I can't talk. I can still hear, like I'm aware of my surroundings and I can hear, but like I'm pretty much a vegetable. Like I can't really control myself. I can't walk, and like my whole body just kind of gives out. So I went back to the hospital again. There's been multiple hospital visits before I got admitted, just trying different things. They put me on Keppra, which is another anti-seizure drug, and then Ativan. So to kind of take care of myself at home, we were taking Ativan every day to try and keep these seizures down, and it would just be 1 milligram a day for the Ativan. If I would have a seizure, kind of take it when I was seizing. And so it kind of came to the point where the Ativan wasn't working anymore, and I think maybe that was about a week, and we kept trying to go up in the Keppra, but it just would get to the point again where I would start to seize, have these muscle problems, and then I couldn't move. So from there I got taken into the hospital and they admitted me. So I've never been admitted to the hospital, so I just wanted to kind of share my experience of what that was, because it was super interesting for me and I think for my family. So I was in the merge for 3 or 4 nights, I can't really remember, and it's changed my whole kind of outview on the medical system. I haven't spent a whole lot of time in the hospital. Like I would say I've been fairly healthy. I have health issues, but I deal with them through the like naturopath and like diet. So yeah, they were super busy there. It was really crazy. And in the beginning, like they were super worried, obviously, because they thought I was having major seizures. So I was always being monitored and watched and always hooked up. And anytime I've had a like seizure, they would give me IV Ativan. But it kind of came to a couple days after where like since my vitals were fine, they kind of just like stopped checking in on me. Every time I'd have a seizure, they kind of peek in but be like, well, you're not dying, so you're fine. And that was like the hard part of being in merge. It was, you know, it's upsetting because sometimes my parents wouldn't be there, so you know I'd be like having these weird shaking things, and you know sometimes the nurses just didn't have time to be there to care for you. Some of the nurses were absolutely amazing. Like they'd stand there, they'd hold your hand, they, you know, they would give you Ativan through IV to make sure they would stop, and they'd wait for you to be okay, and then like ask you if you need anything. Like I had nurses, if they were coming off a shift, they'd come and check on me and ask me if I needed anything. And I am so grateful for those people. And then there was the nurses who were super burnt out, and you know, they deal with a lot. So I could really understand why maybe after a while you didn't really have any emotions towards these people who were struggling. But as a patient, it was hard when people were like that towards me. My parents came every single day, and I think they came around like 10 o'clock and stayed till like 7 o'clock. They kind of took shifts. They'd bring me lunch. You know, they were there and helped me take me to the bathroom every time. And just because Emerge was just so busy. Like, the hospital is crazy. We live up north. I don't know if it's like that anywhere else, but it was super crazy. So at that point, like, I had a bunch of doctors like kind of in the bucket, everyone saying different things. Well, it's this, maybe it's this, let's do this. And they finally took me off Ativan, which was super hard. Starting from like 1 milligram a day for like almost 2 weeks to like my last day was 4 milligrams through IV, and the day they took me off I was having really bad panic attacks and really bad anxiety. So that was really like terrible and hard. And then I would have shaking episodes, and then they would expect me to take oral medication, and that nurse I had a hard time with because there was this expectation, well, you're not gonna stop seizing unless you take your meds. And I'm like, okay, I get it, but like I need to stop seizing to take them. But anyways, so yeah, I got used to being in the Emerge, but it's hard. You can't really sleep there because again, 24/7 there's people coming in and out. We have a lot of drug people kind of in the terrace area, so you know, in the middle of the night, there are people coming in kind of cracked out, screaming, and like, it's scary. You don't want to get hurt. Yeah, so that was challenging. And also, one of the problem was they wanted to give me a private room upstairs because, again, my vitals were fine, and like, there was nothing the Emerge doctors could do for me at this point. Like, my family doctor, and like, they were consulting with Vancouver doctors. They had a plan sort of for me. I mean, they talked about medevacing me somewhere to get me, because again, like, I knew that they knew I had some sort of neurological thing happening, like seizures or something, but we don't have EEG or neurologists up here in northern BC, so I couldn't get the help that I needed. So they were just trying to maintain me. So they didn't have any like free beds upstairs, so I was in Emerge for a few nights, and then finally they got me a bed upstairs. So that was really weird. They woke me up at like 12 a.m. and they're like, all right, we're putting you upstairs. And I was like, what? Okay, like, you have to help me pack my stuff, because at this point I had been bedridden for 3 days. Like, I couldn't get out of bed. I had to have someone walk me to the bathroom. I was sleeping lots because I was on lots of drugs. And so a nurse packed all my stuff up, took me upstairs, and then gave me a room. And then it was really hard to kind of adjust to that, because I went from like really crazy, really loud, really busy all the time to a room I shared with 2 other people, and it was just really quiet. It was really strange the first night, but it was kind of funny. I didn't actually get to see my 2 roommates because everybody had curtains around them. So there was a lady beside me who I think was quite old, and she was kind of funny. She would sleep with her lights on because she was scared of the dark, and I mean, I'm scared of the dark too, so I was like, sweet, I'm okay with that. But I remember her telling the nurses in the morning that the ghosts would like touch her hair in the night and like talk to her. So then I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And then I was like, that's scary. And then there was a guy across from me that, again, I didn't see, but I'm sure he was older as well, who would talk on the phone until about like 1 a.m. and also sing like Jesus songs in the middle of the night, which I think is really sweet, but also I'm trying to sleep. Like, for me personally, I was like really like trying to be super respectful of these people. Like, if I was watching TV, I'd have my headphones on. If I had a phone call, I would take it at a decent hour. So that was interesting. And then upstairs also they had all the student nurses. So I actually got to connect with someone that I knew, it was just a weird situation, because I had a friend who had a roommate who was a nurse, and then she'd have her nursing friends over. So I had met some of the nurses' students. So I had a male nurse for a couple of days who was super nice to me, super kind, and that was really helpful. Like if you're a nurse and you're like super compassionate and super kind, like it just means the world. Like it was really helpful for me and my family just to know that I was in good hands. So that was awesome. I would say that the hospital food was terrible. I mean, I can't eat that much anyways, but yeah, the food was terrible. My parents would bring me smoothies and like little snacks, which was really nice. But again, I can't walk very well, and from being bedridden for 7 days, I think it's been affecting my muscles. So every time I had to go to the bathroom, someone had to walk with me, as well as I would seize while I would walk or black out. So I really needed like a man to like support me while I would go. So it was okay when my parents were there because then I could ask my dad, but I had a really hard time like asking nurses to do that because I'm just not really used to asking for help for things like that. Yeah, and then being upstairs was fine, but it got to the point where, you know, they were saying that everybody up here in BC is just so overrun from COVID that like everyone's running out of bed. Like they did want to send me to Vancouver so that I could have a neurologist and EEG, and the same thing with PG. They would have medevaced me to a different hospital to get my stuff under control, but they didn't have any beds, and that was the same thing with Terrace. They got to the point where my doctor kept being like, okay, like, are you confident to go home? And I was like, okay, well, like, I can't walk, so, like, I can barely move, like, eating is really hard, I have really bad shaking, and so, it got to the point where they kind of just said, you know, listen, like, you're not dying, like, we need to give your bed to someone else. So they essentially kicked me out, which I was okay with. After a week of being there, I was ready to come home and have my own bed. I had to get a wheelchair because, again, I can walk, like, around in the house, like, okay, most of the time, because I can hold onto the walls. I mean, sometimes I do need support if I'm having bad shaking days. But yeah, that was the hospital experience. My parents did a lot. They helped feed me. My mother showered me, which was something. But yeah, I just didn't realize how overrun everything was. Yeah, and then I'm gonna try and keep this video short. I did get an EEG and saw a neurologist in Prince George, and I think maybe I don't know, I'll touch on it really quickly. I did do an EEG and see the neurologist. I actually don't have epilepsy or seizures, so like that's super crazy because I've been having these crazy shaking issues it's been over a month now. But their new guess is possibly Wilson's disease, which is a copper poisoning, so like heavy metal poisoning. It would be your body can't get rid of copper. But I think I'll do another video just kind of on my experience of going to PG and getting that done, because again, I don't really want to edit this video too much just because I don't really have the time. But yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that I'm actually not epileptic, and right now I'm just dealing with really bad tremors. We are in many different tests right now and trying to figure everything out. So yeah, thanks for listening. I know this channel kind of has started off as me in my RV life, and I hope that one day I can get back to that, but right now I've been enjoying kind of sharing my health journey, and hopefully someday my life will go back to normal. Thanks guys, bye.